Big game for both of these sides at this still early stage of the season. It is Borough against the Baggies at the Riverside. Two clubs with Premier League pasts and ambitions to get back there. They both started impressively since appointing new managers in the summer, and tonight should tell us more about their prospects. Something that extra bit special, isn't there? Game under the lights, the stage is being readied at the Riverside. Middlesbrough so impressive under Rob Edwards so far, twice battling back to take a point at Preston, having won their first four. They've seen off Swansea City, 3-0 winners at Millwall, 2-1 winners at Norwich. They've beaten Sheffield United here by 1-0 as well. Rob Edwards winning the Manager of the Month award in August in the EFL Championship. Only taken charge here in the summer. He is in the job for Michael Carrick, who made way at the end of a disappointing season. But they finished level on points with West Bromwich Albion, both falling short ultimately of the playoff positions that were very much the minimum aim, hence the changes over the course of the summer at both of these clubs. And the early signs are promising, aren't they? Ryan Mason in his first full-time permanent position as manager, making an instant impression at the Hawthorns as well. Really disappointed that they were defeated by Derby in a game that they dominated last Saturday. Derby's first shot on target, the only shot on target that they had in the game, didn't arrive until the 84th minute, but it proved to be the only goal of the game, the winning goal from the former West Brom player, Andreas Weimann, who'd only just come off the bench 4 minutes earlier. It was one of those days, really, for West Brom, whose own celebrations in front of their own fans fell a little bit flat as they marked 125 years at the Hawthorns with a repeat of the very first fixture ever played there in 1900. It's the second time that Derby have got the better of the Baggies this season, having put them out on penalties in the first round of the Carabao Cup as well, but otherwise they've dropped just 2 further points in the Championship in the home draw with Portsmouth. They've won both of their away games so far at Wrexham and at Stoke City, after starting the campaign with a home win against Blackburn Rovers. Both of these sides racing out of the blocks really at the start of the new season, and both therefore come into this one with real confidence. Good vibe about the place, said Rob Edwards, despite dropping those first points of the season at Preston. Says that has done nothing to damage the mood, which has been building in the opening weeks of the season. Still, of course, very early in the campaign. Here they come tonight. They were separated only by goal difference at the end of a 46-game Championship campaign, both 4 points outside of the playoffs last season, falling short of where these clubs expect to be. So both have rebuilt over the summer. Changes in the dugout and the playing squad have shown very promising early signs. Borough, the unbeaten league leaders 5 games in, only dropping their first 2 points of the season last Saturday, the same day that tonight's opponents suffered their first defeat of the new Championship campaign, despite dominating against Derby. It means West Brom arrive in 5th position in the table, but still only at 3 points short of the summit and in search of a 3rd straight away league win. They also started last season in the same style, but only won one more game on their Championship travels across the entirety of the campaign after those first 3. Ryan Mason's side are out to show they are made of stronger stuff tonight. Touch from Middlesbrough ahead of kick-off as well. As we check the team news for you, Middlesbrough make 3 changes from last weekend's draw at Preston. George Edmondson comes in for his first appearance of the season at the back, whilst deadline day signing David Strelic and 18-year-old Norwegian Sven Nipa make first starts for the club. Morgan Whittaker and Callie Sen drop to the bench, but there is no Darragh Lenihan, who made his first start since September of 2023 last Saturday after an injury nightmare, so his minutes are being managed. Edmondson gets his chance with Dale Frey missing a 2nd straight match with a calf injury. Just the one alteration for West Brom from the defeat to Derby 6 days ago, but it is likely to mean a switch in formation as well, with Ousmane Diakite coming in to bolster midfield in place of wideman Mikey Johnston, who drops to the Baggies bench. Otherwise, it is as you were, with Norwegian owner Hegerberg still searching for his first championship goal, as Josh Madge continues his recent comeback from a calf injury in reserve. Former Middlesbrough loanee Alex Mowat starts the game for West Brom. Another Samuel Illing Jr. is on the bench. So almost set for the start. Can the home team make the home advantage count here, as they've done impressively so far this season? Looking to make a statement in the early weeks of the campaign against potentially a direct rival. Both of these clubs certainly have big ambitions. Aidan Morris has attracted plenty of attention this season, the most fouled player in the Championship. Going into the game, he and Hayden Hackney with such an important partnership in the heart of that Middlesbrough midfield, providing the platform really from which they have pushed on this season. A lot of focus on Hegerberg. Did score in the Carabao Cup, but 5 games into his championship career, he's yet to open his account. 5-year contract he signed in the summer from SK Brann, part of a big overhaul that both of these clubs have been through after missing out on the playoffs last season. They are set for the start tonight. Two sides who've hit their stride early this season. They'll attempt to do so again this evening, looking to bounce back from those drop points last weekend, which they went into as the top 2 in the table. Middlesbrough still down on the rest right now, but West Brom can move level on points with the leaders if they beat them tonight. It's well within reach, isn't it, for both of these sides at this stage. Beautifully poised, this one. And the early opportunity is for West Brom to launch this long directly into the danger area. That must have been the temptation. The temptation that they've turned down. Now the cross will come in to a packed penalty area. It's up to be hit, and it's saved by the legs of the goalkeeper. It's all Bryn getting down to make the stop. West Bromwich Albion had a couple of openings really in that particular passage of play inside the first minute of the match. For Hegerberg again. Would have been some start, but for Bryn, the Baggies would have got their go-ahead goal. They started very strongly. They've had all the ball. Those in their change colours, in the green and yellow tonight. Styles. Diakite's the one that's come into the team since the weekend, but he's been dispossessed. Hayden Hackney has just overrun it a little. It's a heavy touch. Price couldn't quite make anything of it. He was heavily involved in that move at the other end right at the start. Styles again. Towards Hegerberg. Mason insisting he's not concerned yet that his new striker hasn't got a goal because of the part that he's played, the focal point that he provides to the team. The decision there goes against the captain, Jed Wallace. Bryn called into action early. Let's have another look at it. Good reactions from Nat Phillips when the effort from Price came his way, and it was the centre-back denied by Bryn. Scored the winner at Stoke City earlier in the season, did Nat Phillips, having arrived in the summer from Liverpool. Alone at championship level last season with Derby County. Callum Britton. Boys at the Riverside, having arrived from Blackburn Rovers. Started every game for them since then. League and Cup. Carabao Cup is the one blot on the landscape for Middlesbrough so far this season when beaten here by 4 goals to 0 by League One Doncaster Rovers in just their second game of the season. They have responded impressively since then. Also hit the first hurdle, losing to Derby on penalties in round 1 after a 1-1 draw. They're the only side that have got the better of them this season, but they've managed it twice after the weekend win. George Campbell advancing to take away from him. Conway looks to be operating at a slightly wider role today, just in behind Strelec. We wondered which way round that would be, and there is the possibility, of course, that they could rotate those roles as the game goes on. But Tony Conway has been the central striker at the start of the season. So starting more of a supporting role, perhaps, behind Strelec. He is equally capable of operating wider as well. There's Britton. Touch in there for Aidan Morris. Hackney. Alfie Jones. Aidan Hackney, who they held on to despite significant interest in the summer. They did make a couple of important sales which has funded this rebuild. They brought in Nipa here on loan from Manchester City. It's his first start for the club, and it wasn't far away from his first goal for the club. Only one thought on his mind really in that type of territory. He's a player who only signed for Manchester City from Rosenborg in the summer, was sent straight out on loan to Middlesbrough for the season. And the Norwegian under-21 international has just pulled his shot wide here. Off the bench 3 times already in his Middlesbrough career. Giving him the start ahead of Morgan Whittaker tonight. That's a big call. Whittaker was booed by his own fans when taken off by Rob Edwards in the game against Preston last weekend. Edwards wasn't happy with the reaction of the supporters. He says he has been happy with the reaction of Whittaker in the week in training. But he begins tonight from the bench, having previously started every game for this season's championship. Nipa gets his opportunity. Isaac Price for West Brom, working it wider for the captain Jed Wallace. Campbell outside of him. It will be left for George Campbell to take the throw from here. Third straight start for Wallace, having begun the season on the bench. He was looking for Diakite. The regular right back in the last couple of games, George Campbell. He'd been brought in from MLS side Montreal in the summer, primarily really as a centre back. Upham and Phillips with Premier League previous have held down those starting spots in the middle of the West Brom defence in the early weeks of the season. Takes the long throw. Kite challenging for it, so too was Hegerberg. The free kick is Middlesbrough's. First start of the season for Ousmane Diakite. He did last season in the team. It was he that was penalised, even though it was Hegerberg who got the touch to it. 9 championship starts last season, did the Malian midfielder, including the last 3 of last season. Diakite's had to be patient waiting for his opportunity at the start of the new campaign. That comes tonight. It was a move that Rob Edwards admitted pre-match. He wasn't necessarily expecting. He's played a 4-2-3-1 for most of the season. Mixed it up with that extra player coming into midfield. Take the first few minutes of the match, said Edwards, for his team to get an idea of exactly how the opponents are approaching it. Interesting little tactical subplot at the start. Thought was going to wait there and see if any advantage was materialising, but it's allowed play to continue. Chance for Nipa to get back to his feet again. And free kick forthcoming. Callum Britton to Luke Ayling, who in the absence of Fry and indeed of Darragh Lenihan, captains Middlesbrough tonight. Lenihan having returned after that 2-year injury nightmare to play the full game last weekend at Preston. He's not involved tonight, not even on the Borough bench. Edwards was asked about that before the game, said they're managing his minutes after so long on the sidelines. So George Edmondson making a first appearance since February. Ayling further forward. And that's loose, and onto it quickly was Conway, who goes down, and the referee's not interested. Andrew Kitchen in charge tonight. Have a look at it, didn't give the penalty. Back come Middlesbrough with Hackney. Nipa just overran that, couldn't quite keep it in. Tommy Conway going down in the Baggies box. All eyes did turn to the referee. Let's have another look. Would have been harsh to give that one. Certainly understand the appeals. They almost both got to the ball at precisely the same moment. Heavily involved early on at both ends, Nat Phillips. Giving chase. Edmondson will guide it back to Bryn. Deal with the danger. It's Middlesbrough who have had the better of this fixture recently. And a double over the Baggies in the previous campaign. Counts for little tonight. So much has changed at both sides since then. Positive start though that Rob Edwards has made. Beating Ryan Mason to the Manager of the Month award in the Sky Bet Championship in August. They were both nominated, along with Mark Robbins and Frank Lampard. Edwards at the time with the only 100% record. Surprisingly won the accolade. It wasn't until after the international break earlier this month that they dropped their first points of the season at Preston, and it did look as if they were going to lose their first game of the season at Preston on Saturday. Twice going behind, including in the 88th minute. They snatched a point through Sonjay Hansen's equaliser 2 minutes into stoppage time. Diakite coming under pressure. Here he is again. Osman Diakite for options. Chris Mepham. This is Styles. Mepham, who was promoted from this division whilst on loan at Sunderland from Bournemouth last season. Came on early in the playoff final. And a permanent move to the Hawthorns over the summer. Sees it as a very similar project to that he was involved in with the Black Cats last season. Styles. It's a ball in and nobody really can get the touch to it. That was equally applicable on both sides. Jones clears it away and Griffiths comes a long way outside of his area. Pick up the pieces. This ball can start again. Season on loan at Middlesbrough 3 years ago. Recently, Samuel Illing Jr. ended last season on loan at Borough. He's on the Baggies bench tonight. So too is Mikey Johnston. He's the one that's lost his starting spot since Saturday. That target made an instant impact. He scored one of the goals at Preston at the weekend on what was his first start. First equaliser since moving on loan just before the end of August from regional rivals Newcastle. He was very much on the periphery in the Premier League. Good ball over the top if the flag has stayed down, but it hasn't. Came and attempted to deal with the danger anyway up against Jed Wallace. Was given as offside. that. May well not have been. Tried to bend his run, and perhaps did so successfully. Not acknowledged by the officials, but ultimately somewhat academic because of the manner in which Sol Bryn came and stepped in anyway. Morris. Every minute of their championship season. Second campaign at the club since he's moved from Columbus Crew in Major League Soccer. With Britain. He's actually going straight in as a Riverside regular. He gets the decision here, takes the free kick short and quickly for Luke Ayling. Hackney. Local boy done good. Red Carbone, who's risen through the ranks in red. Certainly, as I mentioned, significant interest in him in the summer. Ipswich Town in particular were keen. They did move a couple on, but he was someone they were desperate to hold on to and did so. Here he is again, Hayden Hackney. Morrison's support. Target's cross. They got it partially clear, but it could come again yet. That's Ralphie Jones in there. Hackney. That target. Conway offering him an option as well. Conway calling for it. Hackney was trying to get back to him. It did actually end up at the feet of Tommy Conway. Not quite as intended, maybe, nor could he quite make the most of it. But it's a better period of Middlesbrough possession, this. They had that scare, didn't they, the home side, right at the start. But they are growing into the game and they are beginning to impose their game on West Bromwich Albion now, quarter of an hour in. Ayling steps in. Lipa. See what he was trying. Strelic had made the run for him. First start for the Slovenian striker who debuted off the bench at Preston. Brought in on deadline day from Slovan Bratislava. And just days later, after doing the deal to arrive at the Riverside, he scored for Slovakia in that famous 2-0 win against Germany in World Cup qualifying. And the top brass at the Borough were delighted by that because they say had he scored that goal before they signed him, they might not have been able to afford him. Set up the other one in that 2-0 win. But it's West Bromwich Albion trying to do some attacking of their own here. After Wallace had stepped in to win the ball well, Isaac Price took over and then took a tumble. Strelic's not the only one on the pitch who's recently scored against Germany. Isaac Price did so as well for Northern Ireland earlier this month, albeit that one came in defeat. It took him into double figures in front of goal for his country. 10 in 24 caps for Northern Ireland, he's still only 21, Isaac Price. 3 goals for the Baggies in the Championship so far this season. He's won the free kick for them. Wallace is assessing his options and then delivers towards Diakite, but it's harmlessly behind. Still looking for his first West Bromwich Albion goal in his second season at the club now. First season as a permanent manager for Ryan Mason after those couple of interim spells that he had with Spurs. Gibbs, who worked with him at Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, is his assistant at the Hawthorns. Edwards, who's managed in the Premier League as well, that solitary season at Luton Town, departing Kenilworth Road before they suffered the pain of successive relegations at the end of last season. Chapter for him on Teesside. The club took a while at the end of last season to assess the situation, to review what went on before making the decision to dispense with the services of Michael Carrick. Edwards later appointed. A lot of the transfer business was done much later in the summer, maybe partly because of that. Including on the deadline day, they were one of the more active sides in the Championship, albeit operating from a position of strength by then, of course, at the top of the table. Might have helped their bargaining position somewhat. Britain's just going to run out of room to reach that. He was one of the early arrivals from Blackburn. Slotted straight into the side. Alfie Jones arriving just as the season started. Jones from Hull City. He's been quietly impressive, certainly since signing. Have to be careful, and his clearance there was cut out by Nipa, but Diakite steps in. Campbell. Hegeba. It's going to be pulled back by the flag. Certainly made his presence felt in the Championship, and he did make his debut for Norway earlier this month as well. Just offside, they're just inside the Middlesbrough half as well. And that ball was played in his direction. He actually came on for his Norway debut to replace Erling Haaland in that 11-1 win against Moldova. Haaland having scored the 5 goals before he was taken off just before the end, and Hegeba got a couple of minutes or so. SK Bram player, previously capped up to under-21 level. Continue to hassle and harry here. Not too much time on the ball for anybody in red at the back. Jones forward looking for Strelec, taken away from him by Phillips. That was telegraphed. Ayling was onto it quickly. The ball was intended for Isaac Price. Now it goes back to Mepham. Middlesbrough pressing high, as they like to do. And they've reaped some reward for it again here. It breaks for Conway. Couple in the middle. He's still going. He couldn't quite squeeze it in. Goalkeeper did well. Griffiths calling to action to keep out Tommy Conway. He was onto this quickly, wasn't he? He did have other options in the middle. He got away from Phillips a little too easily, really, for Nat Phillips' liking, I'm sure here. Just brushed past him. Got the shot away. But Griffiths had that near post covered. Strong play from Tommy Conway. And it was on target, it required the goalkeeper's intervention. Couple of goals so far this season, scored in the win at Norwich City, and the only goal in the victory here against Sheffield United. Chase on at the other end, and it's truly dealt with actually by Edmondson. Under pressure and outnumbered, he guides that back to his goalkeeper. It wasn't without risk. And Campbell, better from the backies. Ebb and flow to the game as we approach the midway point of this first half. Callum Styles for West Brom. All-way through for him. Have to hurry back again now. He is left a little exposed. I'm grateful that the ball breaks back at his feet. Could have been the target there for Middlesbrough. Mowat. Styles immediately up the other end again. It's a little bit too much on that. Just over the head of Jed Wallace. Target will let it go for the throw. Heavily involved down that left flank, Callum Styles. 26 times capped Hungarian international. In his second season now with West Bromwich Albion after that move from Barnsley. Also on international duty this month, like many on show tonight. Started both of Hungary's qualifiers. Signed really at the start of last season as a midfield player, but most of his football with West Brom has been at left back. That has very much been his regular role at the start of this season. Big night for Strelec, isn't it? Not expected of him. Brought in as the striker they were searching for on deadline day. 5-year contract they gave him when they signed him from Slovan Bratislava. reinvest the funds after the sale of Finn Azaz to Southampton once the season had started. Really the second game. The clubs have known exactly what they've got to work with, their squad in place until January. It's starting to settle down after a hectic few weeks off the field. It's been the case, particularly behind the scenes, for West Bromwich Albion as well. Mark Miles stepping down as managing director after 22 years at the club. Come forward here with Isaac Price. Ailing in the way. Some clear. Restructured leadership team that West Brom are moving forward with. Andrew Nestor now combining his sporting director role as club president as well. He'll be responsible for all club functions. President, chief executive and general manager at Tampa Bay Rowdies in the US. Heading up that sporting department with Ian Pearce. Takes on extra responsibilities now. Owners the Bilkul Football Group under Shilan Patel. Big ambitions for this club. Desperate to return them to their Premier League past. Luke Ayling covers good ground. Asking a lot of Britain, but he did reach it, and he still has it here. Stiles was with him. Come for Hayden Hackney, but it's out only as far as Ayling. And Luke Ayling has overhit that for Strelec. Campbell still with work to do. It's for safety first, really, with Matt Targett lurking just beyond him. 4-year contracts. And he joined in July from Montreal, former Atlanta United player in MLS as well. And his first cap for the USA in January. It remains his only one. But he's shown his versatility at the start of his first season in English football. So Edmondson to take the throw. He has been unused on the bench this season. He was back on the bench for the end of last season as well, but he is featuring today for the first time since a 3-1 win at Stoke City on the 25th of February. Absences of others have opened the door for him to return to the team tonight. He's going to take the long throw, which is flicked on, and there's Strelec! And Middlesbrough in front. A first goal for the club on his first start for the club for their deadline day signing David Strelec. The first to react. And it might make all the difference. It did come from the long throw. It wasn't dealt with by West Bromwich Albion. And the Slovakian striker pounces to open his Riverside account. Flicked on there in his direction by Luke Ayling. And he was more than alert to the opportunity. He's got to it first. Well, it's been quite a month already for Strelec, a goal scorer against Germany, for Slovakia in World Cup qualifying, and now a goal scorer for his new club on his first Middlesbrough start. And it could be such an important one. In a game like this, 2 of the top 5 going head-to-head. And he puts the home team on top inside the opening half an hour. This team have won both of their away fixtures so far in this championship season. Wrexham and at Stoke City. Not had to come from behind yet on the road. Challenge laid down by Strelec and Middlesbrough. There's Diakite. Got to still have a player down actually. Inside the centre circle, it's Tommy Conway. And he's only now getting back to his feet again. Well, they had 3 players into double figures last season in front of goal-did Middlesbrough. They really shared the goals around, but Strelic has been signed to play a leading part this time around. There's a super start for him. Emmanuel Latte was into double figures halfway through the season before he left in January for MLS. Conway had a productive campaign, as did Finn Azaz as well, who has since, as we've said, signed for Southampton. So they need somebody to step up this season in this new look side, and well, the early signs are promising for David Strelic. A significant sum that they invested in him. Reportedly cost £6.5 million up front, and there could be another £2.5 million due in potential add-ons if he is as successful as they hope he will be. It was in his second spell at Slovan Bratislava, the club where he started his career. Won a couple of Slovak Cups with them. Played in Italy with Spezia as well. 5 goals for Slovan at the start of this season. Now his first in red at the Riverside. The game's opening goal has given Middlesbrough something to work with. Ayling, who claims the assist for the flick on after Edmondson's long throw. Nipa. This is Alfie Jones. Target. Edmondson. They're back in vogue, the long throws, aren't they? It's been the case in the Premier League at the start of this season. The Championship no different. But you could argue in this division, at least, they never really went away. Underlined again tonight just what a valuable weapon it can be. Afford them a degree of control at the moment, that opening goal. But patiently probing here in pursuit of another one maybe, but Britain has overhit that for Conway. Carries straight through for Josh Griffiths. West Brom had that big chance right at the start. Phillips bringing the save from Sol Brynn. Who knows how different it might have been had that one gone in. But now the onus is on them to try and respond. At the time of the goal going in, they were being pushed back a bit in the game, weren't they? Middlesbrough were getting on top. It's reflected now in the scoreline. A bit more space for the Baggies here, though. Styles. Mowat. Malumbi, he continued his run, now Diakite. This is where that extra man in midfield might work in their favour, although Middlesbrough have got everybody back now, haven't they, behind the ball, inside their own half. So well organised they've been under Rob Edwards at the start of this season. That's been one of the biggest improvements, really. How hard they work when they don't have it. Also been notable. They don't have it here. Malumbi was in a little bit of space. He's found Styles in low first time. Nipa was waiting for the ball to bounce, and he didn't really have that time afforded him. Isaac Price takes it away from him. Now Campbell. Mowat. Diakite. There's Wallace. Didn't quite have the space to get his shot away. Has to scamper after it to keep that in play. Centre-backs combine. Mepham to Phillips. Towards Campbell. A prolonged period of West Bromwich Albion in possession now, but they're not really going anywhere with it just yet. Phillips again. He's looking for Hegerberg. Roof is closed down by Conway. Styles. He's making himself available, but that's gone astray. It was intended for Jed Wallace. Ayling came clear with it. And now Middlesbrough through Nipar. Will look to do so in more dangerous territory. Conway still got it. Did well to keep hold of it, but he sold Britton a little short. And just as Hayden Hackney was hoping to stride onto that, the referee's whistle goes. Styles has never been too far from the story tonight. He takes the free kick, goes long, it's a decent one. And Jones has missed it, Price in behind him, can't capitalise. Oh, the wild from Isaac Price in the end. Was an awkward one for Alfie Jones, and he just misjudged it a little bit here as it dropped over the top of him into the path of Price. It certainly had to be spectacular from there, and it was anything but really from the Northern Irish international. Now a yellow card out, I think, for something that was said on the touchline. Booking is for one of those on the bench. Well within the earshot of the official. Neatly done. Didn't quite come for Hayden Hackney, it does now for Britton, but he hadn't stayed where he was, or where Britton thought he was going to be. So it didn't quite come off as intended. Watling, wasn't it, the first team coach that got that yellow card. A new arrival to the Riverside staff in the summer. Most recently, actually, the manager at Ebbsfleet United in the National League. Middlesbrough have a player down, which is why the referee has stepped in. Possible head injury. It's George Edmondson who is down. They're not having a lot of luck with their centre-backs at the moment. Lennon had not risked again after his return last week. Dale Fry is missing a second straight game with a calf injury. It's not thought to be too serious, and they hope that he will be back in the short term, but he's again unavailable tonight. Can look again at the goal during this stoppage in play. A strike from Strelic that separates them. Ayling getting the flick on to Edmondson's throw, and he gambled, he put himself in the right place. It came through to him, past that posse of players, and he did the rest decisively, just to prod that home from that type of territory. They might just have themselves a new hero. Certainly an impressive start to his Riverside career. He came off the bench at Preston last weekend at half-time. Had an impact on the game. Now he's got his first goal in Middlesbrough red. And a significant one as it stands. West Brom left to reflect on moments that got away. They've had just the one attempt on target in this first half, that one right at the start from Nat Phillips. So Middlesbrough will hope that Edmondson is okay to continue his second season since he arrived from Ipswich Town, initially on loan. The deal was made permanent halfway through last season. It wasn't long after that he picked up an injury that kept him on the sidelines for most of the rest of the campaign. By the time he got himself fit again, he couldn't force his way back into the starting lineup. He's had to be patient for his chance. So he certainly won't want to have to come off here. He's waiting to come back on that far side. Britton, in the meantime, is continuing his surge. And did he apply a little bit too much pressure there on Callum Styles? The assistant referee, who was well positioned, thought so. You can clearly see, it's no great surprise, is it, that Callum Britton had a vastly different opinion of this. It didn't look to be a lot that he did wrong there. Alex Mowat. Space for Styles. That's the questions with the cross. Edmondson only just back on, is the one in the way and heads it partially clear. Good block in there from Morris, who scampers off after it to keep it in play. Did really well. Has support from Nipa. Now Hackney, Middlesbrough have options. Nipa taking the pass from Hackney. Conway calling for it and gets it. Still scrapping for it, Tommy Conway, but there was no way through for him. It's not the first time tonight that he's gone down in the box, but no appeals on this occasion. Won well by Hegerberg. Despite the lack of goals, and he does have one in the Carabao Cup since his arrival, is already becoming a fan's favourite at the Hawthorns. Because of the way that he plays, personality that he brings to the team as well, said Ryan Mason. Gets through an awful lot of work for this side. Well, that looks nasty, doesn't it? And that's going to require some attention, I think. Rapidly swelling up. I think this potentially is how he was hurt. Has already had that little bit of treatment, but I think some more may be needed looking at that. George Edmondson can barely see out of the right eye right now, so he's not going to be able to continue. And I think we've just seen the evidence of why, prompting Middlesbrough into this change and a little bit of a reshuffle, really. It's Samuel Silvera that is going to come on, the Australian. And really unfortunate for Edmondson. Had to wait so long to get back in the team. And now, 5 minutes before half-time, his evening ends early. Given the nature of the injury there, and purely accidental collision that caused it, there's no more that they can do. So he's had to make the change. Silvera is on. And it may well mean a little bit of a reshuffle from those in red. We shall see exactly who goes where. Offside given against Price. It's not a like-for-like replacement. They don't really have one of those available on the bench. Was just offside, wasn't he, Isaac Price? Food for thought for both bosses at this juncture. Styles found himself in adventurous territory again. Price. January signing from Standard Liège, Isaac Price. A really good start to his season. Somebody that West Brom will be looking towards to help them get back in this game. Notable, I think, already Conway's role has changed a little bit. He and Strelic are operating really in tandem up top now. His target is the one that's had to move back in field. This is a slightly more central role since the substitution, with Silvera taking his place wide on the left. seemingly really as if they've stuck with the back three. The target now on the left of it. Anthony Jones moving into the middle of it. Here's Campbell. Time to think about things. Put out though by Luke Ayling, who more often than not has been on the end of situations like that throughout the course of this first half. Conway holds on to it. Finds Callum Britton. Well, Middlesbrough, I think, will be content enough to take this one-goal lead into the interval and then reassess how they can make sure they go on and win the game from here. They have been impressive at the back so far this season. Joint best defensive record in the second tier through the first 5 games, conceding only 3 goals. It's the same as Stoke City and Portsmouth. There they come. Here's Strelec. Oh, he's done beautifully. Got away there from Nat Phillips once more, but some assistance was provided by Campbell. Lovely footwork from Strelec. Phillips almost embarrassed by that, but he was helped out, wasn't he, by George Campbell? And he needed to be. Provides something a bit different, said Rob Edwards of David Strelec when they signed him on deadline day. And we've seen evidence of that already tonight. I think they're working it a little wider. Most of their attack has come through the middle, and there's nothing at the end of that. Again, it's an errant effort from Isaac Price. A couple of those late in this first half. From a player they would want in those sort of positions, I'm sure. Quite been able to trouble the target yet as we advance into 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Ryan Mason far from satisfied. He was really pleased, he said, with the performance last weekend against Derby County, despite the surprise nature of that defeat. Derby's first win of the season was West Bromwich Albion's first championship defeat of the season. And despite West Brom dominating, Derby scoring from their only shot on target late in the game. But this was always likely to be a very different type of test tonight. Target working it wider for Silvera. Campbell did well to hold him up. With Diakite in support, so ultimately he ran out of room there. The substitute, Silvera, a regular starter in the opening weeks of the season. It was only at Preston last week that he got down to the bench, where he remained unused actually at Deepdale. Started the first 4 of the championship season, the former Central Coast Mariners player. Nipa. Morris. Let's find Silvera. He was brought off at half-time in his previous appearance against Sheffield United. That target actually that came on for his debut in his place in that match. And they're in the same side. Needs must at the moment for Middlesbrough after that injury to Edmondson. Target finding Silvera again. It swelled up so quickly, didn't it, the right eye of George Edmondson. When it initially happened, he was having treatment on the pitch. It came back on, continued for a little while, and it soon became clear that he wasn't going to be able to do that for much longer. That they could wait until half-time for and for up some running repairs. I think it was beyond that. It's a little too far out from half-time for that to be possible anyway. But we are almost at the break now, and Middlesbrough look set to take this lead into half-time. It's the break at the Riverside, and so far so good for the championship leaders. They look to stretch further clear at the top rope. Edwards' team are on top thanks to a goal on his first start for David Strelec for his new side. First appearance at the Riverside and a first goal in front of his new fans. He reacted the quickest to score the game's only goal so far, just before the half-hour mark. Came from the long throw, flicked on by Ayling, scored by Strelets. And we haven't seen too much really by way of a response from West Bromwich Albion as they try to get back into the game. Half-time at the Riverside Stadium, it is Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
So let's take a look at the lottery result today. The MATHC Foundation for a jackpot. Thank you. First dealer is ticket number 12554. 12554. Second ticket is 10213. And the third prize is 10146. What's your name? Where are you from, Emily? Ingleby. Okay, you are a star of the Riverside. Thank you for helping with the MATHC Foundation for a jackpot. And our good friends in the winner. Thank you. Thank you. Let's have some more music.
So welcome back. It appears Middlesbrough readying a change at the Riverside at half-time. They are going to bring on Cali Sen, and it will be, we're hearing, in place of the goal scorer, David Strelec. Scored on his home debut, on his first start for Middlesbrough, but he has not reappeared for the second half here. And on in his place comes the player whose spot he took in the starting lineup this evening. Cali Sen of Senegal is summoned for the second half. Middlesbrough already forced into a first half change because of an injury to Edmondson, where Silvera came on, but they are ready to get the second half underway here. So off and underway once more then at the Riverside Stadium. Middlesbrough, the current championship leaders, in the lead tonight against West Bromwich Albion. Can they stretch further clear at the summit of the second tier? They certainly put themselves in a promising position to do so, but that's a notable change, isn't it? Strelec, you suspect, may have picked up a knock. Sent on in his place. He certainly won't want to take any chances with Strelec at the start of his Middlesbrough career, but it's his goal that is the difference tonight, and there's no further part that he can play, helping them try and push on from there to all 3 points. Hegapa challenging for that against Jones. Hayden Hackney helping out for Middlesbrough. Well, the onus is on West Brom, really. They're the ones that need to change this in terms of the scoreline. They're the ones that haven't yet changed it in terms of personnel. Mason is giving those that find themselves in this position another go to get out of it. Hackney trying to improvise. It didn't quite work, did it, for Cali Sen? You can see what he was trying, and he's certainly capable of being the difference maker in situations such as that. Is Hayden Hackney. It's not quite this time. That's a better ball though. He'll be stretching to both keep his feet and keep it in play, and he succeeds in doing both. Wallace in field to Diakite. Mowat. There's Campbell. For Jed Wallace again, really good ball in. Oh, and it's just wide from Isaac Price. He's the one that met it. A big chance for the Baggies, and wide it goes. Wonderful cross from Wallace. This is super service, and he got up well in between the two defenders to meet it, did Price, but having done that bit, he just couldn't quite keep the header on target. Presence of Matt Target in front of him there made it a bit more difficult. If anything, actually, it might have come off target. Just glanced off the Middlesbrough player. If so, it wasn't spotted. Price, I think, got something on it, but not enough. Well, they had a big chance right at the start of the first half. They've had another one early on in the second half. Twice did Price in the 3-2 win at Wrexham. Got the winning goal on opening weekend against Blackburn Rovers as well. 3 goals in his first 2 appearances of the championship season. Yet to add to that tally. Did have the chance to do so, but now it's Middlesbrough who might fancy fashioning something from here. Certainly have players in support in their attempts to do that. Silvera taking the pass from Hackney. And attempting, I think, to take it on. It was ambitious from there. Was never troubling Josh Griffiths' goal. Did have other possibilities in the middle. Silvera. Last goal actually was for Blackpool against Charlton, League One in February. Season out on loan, or latterly with Blackpool, previously at Portsmouth. He's returned to Teesside for this season and returned to the team for the most part in the opening weeks of the campaign. This Middlesbrough goal for Silvera came at Leicester City in February of last year. Hayden Hackney. It's it back from Nipa. And ends up in a heat, does Hackney. Referee content to let it continue around him though. There's Wallace. Wallace trying to dink it in towards Hegerba. Malumbi for Campbell. And the pressure inside his own penalty area. Chase on for the substitute Sen to try and get involved. Who joined just before the deadline from Lausanne on a 4-year contract. He was in good goal-scoring form for the Swiss side before his signing. 6 goals in 8 appearances this season for them. Scored in all 3 of his league games in the Swiss Super League. Once again, we've seen that he is capable of providing the service, so West Brom are looking for him maybe more frequently now to try and do that. Alex Mowat. You know all about in these parts. He was a West Brom player during his season on Teesside, which he spent here on loan, before returning to his parent club to force his way back into their side. And this is going to stay in play. So Wallace with possibilities, finds Malumbi. He just turned into traffic a little bit there, did Jason Malumbi. Sen again is the out ball. Diakite. Usman Diakite again. Campbell. It's it back from Wallace. Conway went with him, doing his defensive duties. There have been a fair few of those to fulfil in this second half already for Tommy Conway. And for Middlesbrough, got plenty back behind the ball as Diakite sends it too close to Saul Bryn. Able to gather that one up pretty comfortably. Seeing plenty of it at the moment. He was brought back into the team to provide them with an extra body in midfield, bit more physicality maybe. That's given away, that's careless. Straight to Mowat, and now Wallace, and it's watched wide by Bryn, who's certainly grateful to see it on the other side of the post, as is Aidan Morris, who was the player caught out here. He was looking for Hayden Hackney, his teammate in front of him. Gave it straight to Mowat. Wallace couldn't make him pay. He got away with one there, did Middlesbrough. Son chasing after this, shoulder to shoulder with Nat Phillips. He came away with it well. Knocked out by Mepham. Has gone on record this week as saying he believes that West Bromwich Albion are certainly capable of matching Sunderland's achievements last season when he was with them in the second tier and going on to win promotion. He believes if anything there is more experience in this West Brom squad than there was in the side that he helped go up last year. He's a permanent member now of the West Bromwich Albion setup after signing from Bournemouth. Never on loan at Sunderland, but a 3-year contract at the Hawthorns was signed in the summer. That's just gone past half a century of caps for Wales during this month's international window. Phillips will again guide it back to Griffiths, but the experience of Phillips and Mepham at this sort of level and indeed above, the leadership that they can bring to the team could be so important under Ryan Mason this season. Players who can really come in and help lead the dressing room. Wallace's cross. Campbell had found him. Straight out of play from Hayden Hackney. need to have had time to bring that down and do rather more with it. Wallace will swing the cross in. And it's gathered into his gloves by Bryn. And then he gets a little bit fortunate. Nearly lost his footing there, and now they have lost the ball. Here's Mowat. Opens up for the shot, which is just clearing the crossbar. The goalkeeper realised he wasn't going to be required. It's Mowat just hitting it too high. It came about after Bryn lost the ball here, and Middlesbrough never quite recovered their composure. A couple of reprieves. They can afford to smile about it in the end. Absence of the injured Seny Dieng. Saul Bryn has been the first choice goalkeeper for Middlesbrough this season, having risen through the ranks at the Riverside. Signed a new 4-year contract early last season. Is he going to be required again here? It's in towards Hegerberg. Didn't have a lot by way of support there for West Brom. He wasn't quite able to reach it. Hackney. They open up the space. Nipa forward for Callum Britton. Still with Britton. Might be a little frustrated by that. It's still a Middlesbrough ball. So there were other options on for the wing-back. Well, he's staring currently at back-to-back defeats, is Ryan Mason. Having seen his side go unbeaten through his first 4 matches in charge in the Championship. This would be a setback. Should it stay this way, certainly. Then they've got Leicester City up next. It's another Friday night game a week today. Middlesbrough coming forward again, and oh, there's plenty of power in the shot. Griffiths makes the save, as he would expect to do from there, but Nipa certainly got hold of it. Just touched back into his path to have a hit by Conway. Moving in the air. He's travelling at some speed as well through the legs of the defender, which you think might have made it more difficult for Josh Griffiths. It was close enough to him for him to make the save. Target to take. Home fans sensing a second maybe. May well need one. Target's delivery is headed away by Campbell. Hackney's there. Now Silvera. Keeps it in. That's Morris. Conway. Silvera and Hayden Hackney come by. He does likewise with Morris. 3 to try and pick out in the penalty area, but it's away by Campbell. Not the first time that we've said that tonight. Sen. An ever-willing runner, we've seen that already since his half-time introduction. Quite been able to capitalise yet. 1-0 was enough for Middlesbrough in their first meeting last season at the Hawthorns. Hackney got the only goal, and then they were 2-0 winners when they last met here in January. Hayden Hackney was on target that day as well. Ben Doak, on loan from Liverpool at the time, got the other one. And that's 3 in Middlesbrough against West Bromwich Albion. Morgan Rogers was their scorer in a 1-0 win at the end of 2023, the start of that sequence. The Baggies haven't scored in their last 3 meetings with today's opponents. Can they find something here? Campbell's cross deflects off target, which takes it over the top and behind for the corner. The last one 4 in a row against West Brom did Middlesbrough between 1994 and 1997. Season though, which has been their best for 31 years. even better if they could hold on to this, but it's a slender-looking lead at the moment. It's Mowatt's corner for West Brom. Punched clear by Bryn, he got both hands to that. It's out as far as Callum Styles, he will return it quickly. Straight up in the air really from Ayling, back by Diakite. Where's it going to fall here? Mowatt's in there, Diakite! And Bryn down to make the stop. Smart reactions from the goalkeeper because he was potentially going to be wrong-footed by that. He readjusted really well. Effort block there, and it came through a posse of players as well as Diakite took a swipe at that, decided to hit it first time. And in the circumstances, because they were awkward ones for a goalkeeper, so Bryn proved effective enough. An hour in, and their lead remains intact. Further evidence of just how much work there is still to do for Middlesbrough if they are to see this through. Has come back his way, Hackney to send and in! Brilliantly done! That's a super goal, and that's 2-0 Middlesbrough. It's a first for the club for Cali Sen. Well, he was brought on for one goal scorer, David Strelic, at half-time, and now he's got his own name on the score sheet. An emphatic finish to a really well-crafted Middlesbrough goal. Two up, just beyond the hour, and on course to extend their advantage at the top of the Championship table tonight. Both goal scorers celebrating their first in Middlesbrough colours. Two of the summer signings. He was involved in the build-up, was sent, and he's there to finish it off. Wonderful awareness from both Conway and Hackney in the build-up as well. And then dispatched decisively. The striker from Senegal. Perfectly positioned in off the post. Squeezed it into that gap. And the momentum at Middlesbrough that Rob Edwards has been talking about looks like it may well be maintained tonight. Mentioned the goals that he'd scored in Switzerland before his signing. 6 of them already this season. It hasn't taken him too long, like Strelic, to open his Middlesbrough account. It's his first goal since he scored for Lausanne in defeat at home to FC Zurich on the 10th of August. 25 goals he got in total for his former club. He has his first for Middlesbrough, and they're going to make a change just past the hour here. Alan Brown, another of the deadline day arrivals into the action, signed on loan from nearby Sunderland. He'll take the place of Tommy Conway. And on for West Brom is Mikey Johnston. Would have been disappointed maybe not to start the game. Collier on as well. So Jed Wallace, the captain, has been replaced by Johnston, and Mowat has made way for Collier, on loan from Manchester United. He's come off the bench in 4 of the first 5 games of their season. He's yet to start one. So no change in the immediate aftermath of that second goal going in. There's Campbell. First involvement for Johnston. The West Bromwich Albion need is a little more urgent now, isn't it? After the concession of the second. Can they find a route back in from here? This is the scoreline by which they were beaten when these sides last met. Look as if it may well be 4 straight wins for Middlesbrough in this fixture, and potentially without conceding a goal. As West Brom can conjure something here. Styles with the effort. Nearly bounced back his way. Blocked by Luke Ayling at some personal cost, I think, perhaps. Yeah, he stayed down. Not altogether surprised that he stayed down after seeing that. But he has to see something change. And soon, really. If they are to avoid back-to-back defeats. Going Rob Edwards' way so far. What a start he's had on Teesside. Had to be so precise to pick a way through, but they did precisely that. Wonderfully worked. He was fully aware, wasn't he, of the presence of Cally Sen. It was Hayden Hackney with the flick. Sen still had a fair bit to do. He did it decisively, he did it instinctively, really. Full of confidence, it would appear, as Middlesbrough are currently collectively to the start to the season that they've had. The sequence, seemingly, they are on course to extend further. Sunderland last season, who were the early pace setters, who came flying out of the blocks in similar fashion to Middlesbrough, and like Middlesbrough, really, maybe not too many were expecting them to do that. Certainly weren't necessarily expecting them to sustain it. But they ended up promoted to the Premier League, and Middlesbrough will be hoping for something similar. Strelec had got his first goal in the first half, didn't reappear for the second half, Sen came on instead and has now matched him. Middlesbrough the beneficiaries of that. Themselves in a really commanding position now. They're going up as the chant from the Riverside supporters. It's only game number 6 of a 46-game season, but it will take them 4 points clear at the top, at least for tonight, if they do go on and see it through from here. And they can watch the rest over the weekend in the knowledge they will remain at the summit, regardless. But they still have a quarter of this contest to negotiate yet. There is time yet for West Bromwich Albion. I haven't seen too many signs of it. They're going to get back in it, but you just never know in the Championship. For sure, is they really are enjoying themselves at the start of the season. This new regime under Rob Edwards off to the perfect start. Good vibe around the place, he said. And that's certainly in evidence right now. Here goes Johnston. It's still with Mikey Johnston. No way through for him. He does have Campbell in support. There's for Diakite. Little fortuitously perhaps, but Middlesbrough caught in possession there. Not that they ever really quite had it fully under control. Campbell again, well advanced. Might get another go, but he couldn't quite reach that one. He did, though, get a touch to it, which is why the throw's gone against him. Need to see a card tonight on the field. There's that one for Harry Watling, the Middlesbrough first-team coach, in the first period. That was clarified at half-time, not for something that he said, but for continually joining Rob Edwards in the technical area when he's not permitted to do that. He was apparently given sufficient warning, which he didn't heed. So when he offended again, out came the card. And that's the only one of the night so far. There's Morris. Hackney. He has played further forward at times this season for Middlesbrough, but it's a slightly deeper role alongside Aidan Morris, where he's seemingly more comfortable, more familiar. His ball in is deflected behind. He was on the charge again, Callum Britton, wasn't he? Middlesbrough know another one at this stage, and it might just be job done. Another one at this stage, it really would send out a statement to the rest of the division. 3-0 winners this season at Millwall. And only their second league game, that was their first away game of the campaign. They've beaten Norwich, they've beaten Sheffield United. They started with success against Swansea already this season. And important after dropping their first points at Preston last week that they do bounce back here, as they are on course to do. Certainly if they can make something of the corner. This time Ayling couldn't quite get the flick on. It's cleared out as far as Hayden Hackney. Threatened to get it back at West Brom there. Didn't get as far as he wanted. Touching it back to Bryn, who had to hurry for a moment or two. Last 20 minutes now. Another big one for Middlesbrough next weekend. Tomorrow they go to Southampton. Then it's Stoke City at home. The following Tuesday, Stoke in the mix at the top as well at the moment, after the start that they've made. They are currently the team in second spot. Into match week 6 of the season. It's the opening fixture of it, of course. Quite some curtain raiser for the weekend. Phillips. Forward for Johnston. Diakite. Defensive organisation that Rob Edwards has instilled in this Middlesbrough side that we've seen in the opening weeks of the season means that now that they have this relatively comfortable cushion at this stage, it's going to be so difficult for West Brom to get back in it. He knows that. He has to try and come up with something. Does have attacking options on the bench. There's Ryan Mason. Madger is on the comeback trail after so long out with that calf problem. Missed the second half of last season. He's not far away from starting games. There was talk that that might come tonight. And DK is closing in on the return as well. I think Carlin Grant might be a little bit longer. When they have them all fit, there is real strength and depth in the squad. Both of these clubs look relatively well set for a possible promotion push this season. Certainly the aim at boardroom level. As it was last season when they both missed out, they had very similar campaigns really. Finishing locked together on points, 4 outside the playoffs. They were separated only by goal difference and only by 2 goals. West Brom ended up 9th, Middlesbrough 10th. Satisfy either this season. All did it last season, hence the changes. They've only faced 7 shots on target all season so far at Middlesbrough, up to this point. Speaks volumes about the defensive diligence that they've done. Again, underlines the scale of West Brom's task. It might need something spectacular. Johnston, we know, is certainly capable of providing that. He's offered plenty of evidence over the last few seasons. Here he goes again, Mikey Johnston. He couldn't quite collect that though, so it may yet come back, but they don't get far, and instead it's Silvera. Slips it carefully here into the path of Nipa. Sven Nipa. Looking to bend one. Mepham got the block in. Looks a handful though, doesn't he? Middlesbrough delighted to be able to bring him in on loan from Manchester City for this season, and it did appear, and Middlesbrough themselves were the first to admit this really. The head of recruitment, Kieran Scott, said it was almost as if Manchester City picked them rather than the other way around, is somewhere for Nipat to go and learn his trade and play regularly. Such is the reputation that Middlesbrough have developed and built for themselves, and using young players and improving young players from Premier League sides in similar loan deals in recent seasons. City certainly saw the Riverside as a suitable destination for Sven Nipat at the start of his English adventure, moving from Rosenborg in the summer. Hegerbert's had to drop deeper to get involved. Hasn't really had the service tonight, has he? Johnston is capable of changing that. He is able to squeeze the cross in. There's the deliberate attempt at the back heel. Ambitious really from Malumbi from there. Too many in the way as it turned out. And down goes Hayden Hackney to earn those in red. A little bit of respite, but he has made a difference as Mikey Johnston since coming on. Looks more likely than most to make something happen for West Brom. They are, though, going to make another change here and get Jos Madja on. In place of Diakite for the closing quarter of an hour of the 90. So that is an attacking move. Needs must, really, at the moment. Sacrifice that extra player in midfield to get Madja into the action. Straight appearance off the bench on the comeback trail. Ryan Mason, as I mentioned, has said that he's not far away now from being fit to start. He's getting stronger and sharper and quicker in every training session that he has. Fully fit, up to speed, Jos Madja is a very important player in the Championship for any side. Top scorer last season with 12 goals, despite the injury issues that curtailed his campaign. Hasn't started a game in this division actually since the 4th of January. Here he is, Madja with back to goal. So he will join Hegerberg in attack. Phillips forward, a bit too far forward, though he knew it, didn't he, as soon as it left his boot there. But he'd overhit it. The one that's taken over the captain's armband now after Jed Wallace went off. Nat Phillips played every minute of their season so far since signing in the summer. Silvera. It's a little awkward. So Alan Brown. Morgan Whittaker being ready, maybe. Booed off when taken off at Preston. He has struggled somewhat at the start of the season, but no doubting his ability. He's proven that at Championship level. Edwards had a difficult conversation with him to explain why he wasn't going to start him tonight, when he made the decision to take him out of the team, but he is going to bring him on for the conclusion. Won't be the only change. Here's Luke Ayling. Last dozen minutes now of the 90. Middlesbrough still in charge. Foraying forward again in search of more. Britton goes down. Styles who caught him. Certainly an anticipation from the home fans that we would see a yellow card this time. The foot was high. It was Johnston who made contact with Callum Britton. He made contact with some force there. Changes will happen here in the meantime. Conte, who's going to come on as well, the Ivorian, another of the summer signings. Whittaker will take the place of Nipat, who's impressed on his first start. Player whose place he took in the starting lineup is summoned instead in a role reversal late on. Started all 5 games before tonight in this season's championship, and Morgan Whittaker, and he does get a decent reception, doesn't he? They've responded to the rallying call from Rob Edwards, insisting everybody be treated as a member of the family. Didn't like the way that they appeared to turn against him when he went off at the weekend. Conte is on for Hackney in midfield. He'll take over a similar role in the heart of the action, or the 20-year-old Ivorian. He started the win at Millwall, but it remains his only start for the club. It's only his 3rd championship appearance in total tonight. He's more often than not been left on the bench recently, but Whittaker is certainly into the spotlight. As the free kick heads into the penalty area, and Jones will return it there. Sen was challenging as well. Britain getting a touch to it, still has work to do. Hurrying back facing his own goal, but he's done it cleverly. Lovely little touch from Britain in there. And he has Brown to chase it. Griffiths able to intervene in the nick of time. He didn't have a lot of time to do so. Not that you would necessarily know that from the cool manner in which he completed his task. Same can be said really for how Alfie Jones dealt with that. Clean sheet as well, Middlesbrough. Would be a 4th shutout of their season already if they can hold on to it here. They come again, West Bromwich Albion, with plenty queuing up in the middle. Johnston, having switched flanks, has to settle for the corner. Take it himself. By Mikey Johnston, ailing away. Forced all the way back to the solitary figure of Josh Griffiths, the only player inside West Brom's own half. Sweeps it back forward again for Johnston. Looks that in more menacingly. Dealt with decisively by Bryn. Here's Whittaker, trying to wriggle away, but his progress just halted by Mepham. Not been overly busy tonight, but when he has been called upon, Sol Bryn has been alert to the danger. And a decent game. West Brom with just 2 shots on target in the entirety of the match. That is one more than Derby managed against them in beating them last weekend, though. They've actually had considerably more shots in this game of West Brom than Middlesbrough, 13 of them to just 8 at the other end. But half of Borough's have been on target, 2 of them have ended up in the net. West Brom are rapidly running out of time now, if they are to undo that damage. Jason Malumbi. Here's Campbell. There's Price. A couple of chances of his own in this game. He's faded more to the fringes, really, as it's gone on. We're not going to give this one up. A wrestling match going on between he and Silvera. Helping out for Middlesbrough. Sen takes a tumble. He stayed down. Referee lets it go on. Styles driving forward now. Mikey Johnston. Still with Johnston. Styles with the cross. And it sits up for Johnston to have a hit. Couple of big blocks in there from those in red. Just too many in the way, really. Doing their jobs defensively. Quite happening for West Brom. There's Johnston again. Styles, deeper delivery from him. Not only as far as Malumbi. Campbell. Back to Price. All being played now in and around the Middlesbrough box. Johnston, he's done well. He's looking for Madger, I think it was behind him. It didn't quite actually get as far as Jos Madger. Brown saw to that. And Morris. Whittaker. Conte. There's going to be space somewhere. Samuel Silvera has plenty of it, doesn't he? He showed a bit too much of the ball to Campbell. Breaks for Conte, though. But it will come again with Whittaker. Just unable to turn away from trouble. They'll be happy enough if they can keep this West Brom defence occupied in this part of the pitch at this stage of the game. They've done the hard bit really already with the home side here. Phillips assessing his options. Well, there are plenty of players in front of him. There weren't too many immediately obvious options for the pass. Collier working it wider for Mikey Johnston. Madger, and still finds himself outnumbered, but he wasn't giving up on it, Jos Madger. And he will earn some reward from that, his persistence paying off to the extent of a corner kick. He would love his first goal of the season since returning to fitness. They need something very soon, West Brom. It is in towards Madger, is the corner. Malumbi waiting, it didn't come down quickly enough for him, really. And Whittaker's in the way, and then Whittaker is brought down, and Middlesbrough will certainly settle for that in the circumstances. Caught by Toby Collier, who has Premier League experience with Manchester United's first team. Played 13 times for Manchester United's first team in total. Couple of starts in the Europa League for them last season as well. It was unused in the final when they lost to Spurs in Bilbao. Six Premier League appearances last season, having debuted for Manchester United in the Community Shield at the start of it. He's at the Hawthorns for the season. Flag up again here. Middlesbrough are nearly there. It'll take them 4 points clear of Stoke City at the Summit before tomorrow's matches. Albeit having now played one game more, 5 wins and a draw. In contrast to back-to-back defeats this will be for Ryan Mason and his side, who had also made a really impressive start to the season. Price will keep the pressure on Alfie Jones here. He had to take evasive action with the centre-back. Tricky little run coming up for West Brom as well. Leicester at home, we've mentioned a week tonight. And successive away games at Norwich City and Millwall at the start of October. It does look as if the momentum that they'd built at the start of the season will have been lost a little bit going into those games. Haven't given this up yet though. Styles with the ball in. Middlesbrough have always had somebody in the way in positions like that. That's what they've done really well tonight. They have had to reorganise a little bit themselves as the game has gone on. They've done that effectively. Much of what he is doing is coming off right now. In contrast, really, to the end of his tenure at Luton Town. And it goes, oh, and in it goes! Who knows, just maybe there could be a route back in this for the Baggies. Out of very little. In the last of the 90 minutes, West Bromwich Albion have hope. Well, it was delivered dangerously and flicked in by Hegerber, who was just the quickest really to respond here. This probably should have been dealt with by either defender or goalkeeper, but in the end neither could do so, and he does have his first championship goal. Hegerber for West Brom into stoppage time. We go. Middlesbrough straight back up the other end, looking to re-establish their two-goal cushion. No clean sheet tonight. Fourth officials board about to go up to indicate that we will have 5 more minutes from here. 5 minutes for West Brom to rescue it after all. It hadn't looked likely, in all honesty. And even when it came, it was out of nowhere to a certain extent. But the summer signing has his goal. How important it could prove will only be determined in the next 5 minutes or so. Scored against Derby County in the first round of the EFL Cup. And it's his first in the second tier since his signing from SK Brandt. And it's one that has ensured this is going to be much more nervous than it needed to be, really, for Middlesbrough at the end. They were in complete command, really. Johnston has to take a lot of the credit for the ball in, and Hegerber for making it his, making something of it. The natives in the northeast are a little restless at the end. They're a little concerned now. And it goes once more, this time from Collier. Hegerber flinging himself at it, trying to get on the end of another one. Not quite this time. Well, where has this come from? Know when they're beaten. West Bromwich Albion, who were desperately disappointed to be beaten for the first time last weekend in a game that they dominated. They've not been able to say the same of this one, but it is not over yet. Halfway through stoppage time. An earlier yellow card. Harry Watling, he is still continuing to join Rob Edwards in that technical area fairly frequently. Some fine footwork. Conte in there, ultimately unrewarded. And they get themselves over the line, Middlesbrough. They will feel over the course of the contest they deserve to do so. Certainly Johnston has helped West Brom fashion a route back into the game. He's done more than most in their pursuit of an unlikely point. I'm a little disappointed at the nature of the concession on Edwards as well. To deal with it a lot better if they do hold on for the victory. And he's back in the balance though. Here's Isaac Price for West Brom. Plenty ahead of him. Now Collier. This is Campbell. Price had continued his run and provides the cross, which was cut out by Conte. We've got 60 seconds or so to salvage this of West Brom from here. Where will be for Middlesbrough clearing that away. Collier racing to take the throw. And Griffiths the only ones in their own half. Griffiths has to go long. And he got really decent distance on that. Madger is underneath it when it comes down. Hegeber's in there as well. It didn't quite come his way. Now the flag's gone up. And you wonder if they'll get another chance. He's not happy though, is he? I know that his team are hanging on at the end here. Final seconds at the Riverside. For so long tonight it looked like being much more comfortable than this, but they are still just seconds away from being able to celebrate another vital victory against a potential promotion rival. That is full time, and that is another win for the leaders, who extend their advantage at the summit of the championship. Back-to-back defeats now for Ryan Mason and West Bromwich Albion after a really positive start to their own campaign. Knocked off course a little bit further tonight. Middlesbrough with Strelic and Sen both scoring their first goals for the club. Strelic got his in the first half. He was replaced by Kali Sen at half-time. And the Senegalese went on to add another one for Middlesbrough. And how they needed the insurance of that second. A wonderfully crafted goal it was as well, before Sen provided a fine finish. They were in charge and in control, cruising, it appeared, towards this vital victory, only for that late scare in the last of the 90 minutes. Hegeber getting one back for the Baggies, which set up a fairly frantic 5 minutes of stoppage time. But Middlesbrough have somehow negotiated that tense period at the conclusion. And Hegeber's first championship goal is ultimately in a losing cause for West Bromwich Albion. He is off the mark though in this division. But it's Middlesbrough who take the points. Their fine start to the season goes on. 5 wins and a draw from 6 now. Full time here. Middlesbrough 2, West Bromwich Albion 1.